All right, so we're back from break. And unfortunately, we were supposed to have Stephanie Reeves from Springfield show us some of the new products that they were coming out with, but I'm sure she was somewhere in California, and we know how much the figureheads in California hate anything that have to do with firearms, so I think they ate her. So with that being said, what I want to talk about is recently today I had a good friend of mine send me a text message asking me about, well, she was planning on getting her CHL, and she wanted to know what would be a good suggestion for a gun for her to use as her CHL. Now, I know for a lot of people who are in the gun community, a lot of gun people, they get this question quite often from people who finally decide to get their guns. Now, it seems like a very kind of innocent question, but it comes with a lot. It's a very loaded question because when answering those things, there's a bit of a juggling act that we have to do in answering it. One of them is get rid of our biases. I came up through a generation where Glocks were the big thing. Glocks were like the always go-to carry gun. And so it's easy for me to get lost in the idea of saying, okay, Glock 43, 42, 19, 26, and then just sticking with Glock. However, it's a very myopic approach to the idea of the way people choose their firearms or which firearms work for them. I think people don't understand that firearms are incredibly personal. It's very subjective and not objective when it comes to choosing a gun that you like. I know some people who live and die with Springfield. I know some people who live and die with 1911s as carry guns. I personally probably wouldn't carry a 1911 as a carry gun, but then I know some people who would never carry anything that was plastic. And so with that being said, there's always going to be a comfort level attributable to what gun people decide to do. So what I usually tell people who ask me what should their first gun be is, one, of course, the context. Where do you plan on using this gun? Is it a gun for the house? Is it a gun that you plan on carrying? Is it a gun that you plan on keeping in your car? Is it a self-defense gun? Is it a gun you just want to go to the range with and shoot? Once I understand the context, and generally speaking, what I tend to tell people, especially when we talk about Conceal-Carry and the gun that you want to carry, that's a very personal investment because it's going to be the thing that's going to be with you majority of the time, and the thing that you're going to have to use in the event that you have to save your life with it. And you want to feel comfortable with it. Carrying a gun is very much about confidence as much as it is about proficiency. So the last thing you want to do is get a gun, throw it in your purse or throw it in your holster and put it on your body and go about, only to realize that when you finally take it to a range, you really hate shooting the gun. And now you have to take a gun that you went to the range that you don't like, put it back on your person, and then now if you have to use a gun to save your life with, you have to pull something that you don't even like. So one of the things I tell people is, first, get your hand on as many guns as possible. Believe it or not, if you go to a gun store and you ask them to look at every gun in the cases, they will show them to you. Because if there's one thing that I know about gun store attendants, they love to talk. And they love to show people things. Generally speaking, a lot of gun store attendants are very passionate about their jobs. So you're not bothering them or getting on their nerves by asking them to see multiple guns, especially if you tell them that you're a first-time gun buyer. Don't be shy. Get up there and say, I'm a first-time gun buyer. I'm trying to decide what gun to buy, and don't feel pressure to buy anything. They understand. We were all there at some point. So go into a store and then just put your hand on as many different guns as you possibly can. And then from that point, you can say, okay, I like this, and like that. Then you kind of set the baseline of what you like preference-wise. You may like hammer-fired guns. You may like striker-fired guns. You may like 1911s. It just all depends on your personal preference at that point. But now we're just talking ergonomics. Once you've determined what gun it is that you like, then find a range that has that gun that you can rent to actually shoot. Nowadays, there's a ton of options, a ton of guns that you can choose from a lot of ranges that'll let you rent the gun, take it out to the range, shoot it, and then give it back. Very, very low investment for something that's incredibly invaluable, because though it may feel good in your hand now, when you shoot, the gun's character completely changes. So get out there to the range and try to rent a gun and find a gun that you like based on the gun that you liked at the gun store. And then if none of those guns worked out for you after shooting it, go back to the gun store, do the same thing over again. This is the gun you're going to use to protect your life with. So engage in the investment in time and trying to figure out a gun that works for you. But then also don't get caught in the trap of trying to find the perfect gun. There is no perfect gun. It's just going to be the gun that you like the most at that moment, because your taste will change, especially as you start to learn more. So understand that it's a journey, and then engage in that process as actively as you possibly can. And then from there, once you buy your gun, once you've taken the courses, the requisite courses for you to get your CHL, so forth and so on, spend as much time learning all the details that you possibly can about that gun. The more guns you get, the less time you'll probably start to have in order to really nail down all of the details about the gun. But there's nothing better than feeling comfortable in knowing that you know the inside and outside of the gun that you carry every single day, and that you like the gun because of the way it feels in your hand. You like the gun after shooting the gun. Remember, confidence and proficiency are, I'm not going to say they're equal. It's always better to be better with your gun, physically speaking. But knowing that you have the confidence to go to your gun that you actually are comfortable with is invaluable. So that's my take on first-time gun buyers. That's usually kind of the advice I give people. Go to a gun store, get your hand on guns, see if you can rent it, take it to the gun range, shoot it, and then learn everything you can about it. So that's another episode of CM Live. I'm Colion Noir, and hopefully we'll find Stephanie somewhere in California.